kick it off with your prospect of the year, sir, and you can do the whole thing.
I think I'd be remiss to just name a name or two, right? Let's give some some honorable mentions first. All right. Josh Edwards in the heavyweight division with Golden Boy had a lot of impressive knockouts on Golden Boy undercards and worked himself into a legitimate heavyweight prospect right now. Along with Richard Torres in the pros, our two best heavyweight up-and-coming fighters. Jared Anderson, we hope, gets back on the right track. Shout out to Jared. Darrell the Blast Veil Saint, who is a very talented 6'1", 6 foot, 154-pounder, been fighting on Pro Box, looking very impressive. Can switch hit, got a lot of talent, length to him, was so talented that Canelo said, I got to bring you in to prepare for Terrence Crawford. So another one of these switch hitting, 154-pounders like Jerron Ennis, Terrence Crawford. Jamal Harvey, who only has 2 fights, like you said, but just an honorable mention because he's a future prospect of the year.
For sure.
Big Ben Johnson out of D.C. fought I got to record a fight of his on the Pitbull Roach undercard. Very good fighter. Okay. Very decorated amateur out of Washington, D.C. Ernesto no, he's a welterweight.
Oh, welter.
Yep. And got offense, got defense, got amateur pedigree, talent. Someone to look out for. Big Ben Johnson out of Washington, D.C. Kermel Moton deserves a mention as always. Still waiting for Kermel to get the number of dates he needs to become that prospect of the year. Wouldn't be surprised if he wins the award at some point. Ernesto Tito Mercado continues on. Adam Azim had a breakout performance. He's become more of a contender now, but I think we got to mention Adam Azim. And then in the amateurs, just to look out for Joseph Awignonia Jr., who won the 198 Nationals. I mean, we're supposed to be a professional.
No, we're good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also,
we're going to start pouring out even more of this amateur stuff.
Marcus Luther, who won the 143-pound out of D.C. too, and Salim Bey out of Philadelphia. So all good prospects. But my winner is Emiliano Vargas.
Okay. There it
who
is.
Got to fight a lot. His last performance, he didn't get the knockout like he was getting earlier. He's still got some things to work on. But I think between the activity, the upside of stardom, and the performances themselves, some nice, nasty knockouts like he had in Madison Square Garden on the Xander Zayas, Garcia Perez undercard, I think he's my prospect of the year, Emiliano Vargas.
Beautiful as always.
Yep.
I kept it short and simple, man. Moses Aitama.
But he's I think he was last year.
He's over the threshold.
He's the number one contender.
He's over the threshold of being a prospect. But at the same time, the way he spoke to us and he said, "Hey, I'm not gonna rush it. I'm on my clock. I'm on my time." I feel like he's really taking the necessary steps. And I just felt like he still fits in that prospect role because he hasn't truly crossed over into I'm fighting for the title tomorrow. Probably get a title by this time next year, though, right?
Yeah, well, we'll see, because Usyk would have to drop another strap.
Yeah, of course.
Because him and Fabio, I think, share Ben Davison, and I don't see them fighting each other. Man, if we still consider Moses a prospect, by far, he's the prospect of the year, So, and by the way, you ready for this?
Go.
You heard it here first from your man on the Porterway Podcast.
Porterway Podcast.
Maybe 2035, 2034, one of those years in the mid-2030s.
We're going to be sitting on the moon at that point, big dog. Where are we going with this?
The fight in boxing and in the heavyweight division. You heard it here first.
Oh, I know what you're going to say.
Joseph Awignonia Jr. Against Moses Aitama.
Dang, I did not know you were going to say that.
The U.S. versus the U.K. and Ghana versus Nigeria.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's the fight. You heard it here first.
That's big. I know you prognosticating something that's 10 years down the line. But that's big, y'all. I know y'all understand how big that is, but I get it. I get it.
That's the fight.
We're gonna have to figure out a way to revisit that. But
I don't know what platform, what promoter.
That's a big statement.
What? Yeah.
That's a big statement right there. Upset of the year.
So if we're to go by the letter of the law, the biggest odds that were upset in a significant fight, it would be Armando Resendiz against Caleb Plant. But I would say the upset of the year was Rolando Romero against Ryan Garcia. Yeah.
There it is.
And bang, bang.
And because I knew you were going there, I said, you know what? Let me add a little fanfare to this. I actually have 2 upsets of the year. Hey, you didn't know this was coming, but you might have a graphic of it. I think you got a graphic of it. My upset of the year is Joshua and Paul. I just think that this was a fight that, while it went the way we all thought it would go, I think for Jake Paul specifically, I think also for Netflix, I think for everything combined, I feel like this was just something that they couldn't afford to have happen. It happened. I think this is the upset of the year. My other upset of the year.
You mean like him making it to the 6th round?
That too. That too.
Yeah.
My other upset of the year, which will lead into my card of the year, upset of the year, the Garcia versus Romero card.
Ooh, yeah. The way it underdelivered.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's my upset of the year, and that's also my card of the year. I was kind of poking at it, but, I'm going to make it make sense. I was poking at it, but on paper, there's no better card than Garcia and Romero. Teofimo and who did he fight? He fought
Arnold Barboza. And
yeah,
handled his business.
Yeah.
It wasn't a spectacular fight, but he did his job. He did his business. Yeah.
Devin
and Ramirez. Devin got the 12 rounds out that he needed, and then looked much better against Brian Norman.
Yeah. But in hindsight, we just knew that this was going to be the card of the year. It was not.
I said it wouldn't be.
They all underachieved. Even Teo in a win. I thought he looked the best out of all of them that night. But also that was the upset of the year. How bad that card ended up being. The whole experience. It was not just the card, but the experiences as a whole.
I hope Rolly doesn't mind me sharing. I talk to Rolly sometimes. I would think he doesn't, because it's such a positive thing to talk about and to flesh out the upset of the year, Rolly beating Ryan. He told me that, because Rolly has really taken to his beliefs now and read the Bible extensively and really fortified his belief in Jesus and everything. And that's why he was dead serious after the Pitbull fight, when he wished everybody a happy Easter. Like, he was dead serious. He explained to me that God carried him, in his words, through this upset of Ryan Garcia, that he was warming up in the dressing room and hurt his shoulder. And he was like thinking to himself, shit, what am I going to do? Like, why is this happening to me? I need both hands to win this fight. And he said the voice of God told him, you won't need it.
Oh, wow.
You won't need it, right?
Wow.
So funny enough.
Good for him.
He kept this up all night, right? Yeah. It's like, well, he couldn't really use it, apparently. Wow. Yeah. So think about it. If he had both hands and maybe let go of some right hands, maybe one of those times that hook that he stayed here with all night, it turned out all he needed was his left hand. Yeah. He out-jabbed Ryan, and then the fight was basically done after the 2nd round when he catch and shoot with the hook on Ryan. So I think that's. Wow. I just wanted to share that Rolly told me that, and I thought Ryan was going to win by knockout. He was a huge underdog, almost 10-1, and Rolly, what he's most proud of this year is growing his faith in Christianity. He credits God with that, and kind of
catch up with him.
Yeah, explain that to me.
I gotta catch up with him. That's amazing.
Hope you don't mind me sharing that, Rolly.
I hope so too. That's an amazing story.
Yeah.
You know how God-fearing I am. You know how dedicated I am, and you know that I hear from God. My family, we all hear from God, right? So I'm gonna tell a quick story too, because I had that same experience, and I was actually telling it over the weekend. Shout out to Rolly. That's amazing for him to go into. You go into the ring, and your faith goes before you. That's how I always was, and I love that story. Thank you for sharing that. His faith moved before him.
George Foreman said, for the Riddick-Bowe-Holyfield fight, when you fight for the heavyweight title, you get carried to the ring. It's a matter of destiny and fate and those kinds of things. He goes, all those fights leading up to fighting for the heavyweight title, he walked to the ring. He said when he fought Joe Frazier, or he said when Bowe was fighting Holyfield, you get carried to the ring. Right. So
Yeah. What I was going to say is, his faith was moving before him, and behind him is, I'm hurt. How am I? And you know how real it is for him when his faith speaks to him, when God speaks to him, and he gets in the ring and does what he did. Salute to Rolly for that. My dad comes to the locker room before my fight with Ugas, and so that you guys know, when the way we did our thing, I would get wrapped up, and then I would go to I'd be by myself. I stretch, I warm up, I listen to my music, I'm doing my thing. Once I'm ready to get my gloves on, that's when we kind of all get together, and now, you know, we go through the mitts, we go through the warm up, we make our way, our prayer ring. This day, my dad actually came while I'm doing my warm up and stuff like that. And he came. Funny thing is, he came in the room. And I'm kind of like, what you want? Like, this is my time. This is my moment. You know this. See how why are you in here? My dad gave me a hug and he kissed me. He said, "I love you." And that was a little off base because that's not what we do. That's just not. You know, I oblige. You know, love you too. That whole thing. And he's grinning, right? And it's an annoying grin because I'm in my mode, right? And he said, "Stop moving." So, unreluctantly, I stopped moving, but I'm trying to hold on to my mode. He says, "How you feel?" I said, "I feel good. Feel good." Like, why you asking me that? He says, "Did you sleep good?" I said, "Yeah, I slept good." Like, he said, "I slept great." And now I'm like, all right, where you going with this? He said, "I slept great." I said, "Good." You know? He says, "God talked to me last night." I said, "Yeah." He said, "In my dream, God came to me and he told me to tell you this kid can't touch you." And I stopped moving. You say, "God," now I stopped moving. He said, "This kid can't touch you." And my dad's still like grinning a little bit. And he said, "So we're going to move all night. We're going to outbox this kid. He got slow feet. He got slow hands. He can't touch you." He said, "We're going to move on him all night. How you feel about that?" I said, "Whatever you say." He said, "Well, God told me to tell you that he can't touch you. So that's what we're going to do. Don't let him touch you." And that's why we went to the ring and we did what we did that night. We were always prepared to find moments where we back you up, find moments where we do us, but then get back on the back foot and do what we got to do just to set it up again. My dad said, "No, we're going to leave that tonight. Tonight, this is what God told me to tell you to do. So this is what we're going to do." You know, God bless. We got out of there with the decision. It wasn't something that the judges expected, but I just wanted to validate a Rolly story. That's happened to me. And before going to the ring, my dad told me to do something different. We did what God told us to do, and we were successful doing it. You know,
I'm sure a lot of fighters have similar stories about it.
I love that story from Rolly, man. I got to catch up with that kid.
Yep.
Let's keep it moving. Your card of the year.
Benavidez Yard.
I figured that.
And Benavidez Morel. Because Benavidez Morel had a Fight of the Year candidate in Cruz Fierro, and it had a hell of a main event. Not a Fight of the Year, but I think an honorable mention in Benavidez Morel. Little one-sided to be a fight, but still, Morel dropped him late in the fight and had moments. But yeah, I think between Haney and by the way, I have a surprise award for Devin Haney later in the show that I'll tack on. But I think Haney overcoming Brian Norman in a 50-50 fight a lot of us thought he wouldn't win, was a big moment, even if it tapered down in the second half. I think the performance Bam Rodriguez had against Martinez, which was amazing, and then Mason and Noakes is a Fight of the Year candidate, and then Benavidez showed why nobody really wants to fight him in the main event. So I think that was the card of the year. Yeah.
This one delivered.
Yep.
100%. Let's go back up real quick to Fight of the Year.
Okay, so I want to give an honorable mention again to Benavidez Morel.
He's like, okay.
I want to get honorable mention to Benavidez Morel. Abdullah Mason, Sam Noakes was a Fight of the Year candidate, and then Pitbull Cruz in 2 different Fight of the Year's candidates.
I forgot about that one with
Fierro. Fierro and Roach.
Yeah.
I think are both Fight of the Year candidates.
You think that fight with Roach could be a Fight of the Year candidate?
That was a rumble, man. That was a good ass fight.
Yeah.
That was a good ass fight.
Yeah.
It's a nominee.
Nice.
But my Fight of the Year.
Okay, Pitbull.
Yeah. Oh, and a shout out to Michaela Mayer and Sandy Ryan's rematch. They threw down early in the year. I think the Fight of the Year was Inoue Cardenas. I think. Hayfie is on top of it.
Yeah.
I think Inoue Cardenas and also with the you said earlier.
That look like Kyle.
Kyle, which one? Yeah, it does. Shout out, Kyle. It does. One of our producers. I think with the context, especially of the fights the night before not delivering, like you said earlier, the Times Square card, And then Inoue being thrust into the role that has always been held by Canelo or Floyd or Oscar De La Hoya. Like, hey, Cinco de Mayo is yours in Vegas. What are you going to do with it?
Yeah.
He's like, I'm going to go to war with a Mexican and get dropped, go Super Saiyan, and then knock him out. So I think and then Cardenas getting a knockout of the year candidate against Ayala a few days ago on Pro Box only made this win age well. I think Inoue was thrusted into the spotlight of the Vegas Strip. And he fucking delivered. This was the fight of the year to me. This was my favorite fight I covered all year.
And for me, it was Chris Eubank and Conor Benn.
Another honorable mention.
For me, and this is personal to me because, something I've been feeling for a long time is it doesn't matter what level a fight is at. And you don't tune into a lot of these fights because they're not a championship level fight. And it's like, you guys are missing some really good boxing because they're lower on the card. There's other fights that you just don't even see. This one, again, was personal to me because this one validated what I've been saying for a long time. These guys are not world championship caliber, but they are on the exact same level, and they were able to deliver a great performance. And really, the second fight was just about as good as the first fight, but I had this first one.
You think so? That second fight, Ben pretty much dominated.
It was, but again, like a little personal to me. Like, what can Ben do? And I'm like, well, he's doing it. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's a little personal to me again, but this one to me was the fight of the year.
And I think Conor Benn. He has a chance to become world champion. I wouldn't count him out of that. So I think he has a shot, especially if he could be strong getting back down 13 pounds to 147. But that first fight definitely deserves a mention as a fight of the year candidate.
And then also Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford. Honorable mention because the level of fight that it was.
Highest level fight of the year.
At the highest level. And, both these guys are able to really do what they do. And one just, dismantle, disable the other is beautiful, So
Canelo dialed up everything he needed to. I mean, his peak is behind him. But Terence is 38 himself, fighting in a weight class he had never fought at. But Canelo dialed up his head movement. He dialed up his feints. And Crawford dialed up a masterpiece that young fighters will be watching for decades to come.
Yeah.
So
knockout of the year.
I would say. Shout out to Daniel Blancas against William Townsell on the Pitbull undercard that a couple weeks ago. That was nasty. Ramon Cardenas had one against Ayala a couple weeks ago. Bam with the pull counter left hand over Martinez was nasty. What Usyk did to Dubois was nasty. But I think the KO of the year was shout out to B. Norm the Storm, Brian Norman knocking out Jin Sasaki. Who couldn't remember the last 6 weeks of his life when he woke up from that knockout.
That's
happy he's all right. But it's Brian Norman.
Unbelievable. This was an honorable mention for me. The only reason is because Sasaki, I believe, in hindsight, just was not on
that level.
Yeah. So it kind of took away a little bit for me, but you can't deny the way that punch was delivered. It was execution was phenomenal. For me, the knockout of the year was Daniel Dubois over Anthony Joshua.
Was that this year?
That was this year, wasn't it?
I think so. Was that last year?
It
might have been last year, man.
Don't do me like that. Was that this year, AP? Don't let me just put that out there like that.
That might have been last year.
Was that last year?
Might have been. Go ahead, continue on.
That went by fast. That went by fast. It's impossible for that to be last year.
I think so. Go ahead, continue on, and I'll confirm.
I just, again, the fact that Anthony Joshua kept getting up.
September of last year.
Damn, that was September of last year. We're going to edit this after this is done. I'm not even going to finish it. Moving on.
Oh, wait, but to give Norman his credit, Sasaki was rated number 6 by The Ring and was in the top 2 for the WBO ranking. So, yeah, he showed he wasn't on that level. But
the fact that he wasn't world everybody.
Right, right.
Like a Devin Haney. You do that to Devin Haney, that's not going to
Yes.
You know what I mean? So, my honorable mention will be my knockout of the year now, which is Anderson Silva knocking out Tyron Woodley. It was sexy. You touch the glove, you freeze your opponent, and then you close out. That was sexy. I wish I had just said that instead of saying what I said before, but we move on. Fighter of the year. I'm gonna do my honorable mention first, and then I'm gonna do my fight of the year. I do believe we have the same fight of the year. Let me do my honorable mention. JYD. JYD is my honorable mention for Fighter of the Year. As you guys know, we've gone close in this year, but beyond that, you guys name another fighter who's as active as he is with his business, with his social media, of course, outside of Jake Paul, but again, an actual fighter who has realistic goals, is for boxing, is not just for himself, and that's why I chose to point him out. He pulls the content that he pulls in the boxing news that he delivers. He delivers it all, just a lot like the podcast. He's not just doing just certain stuff. He's doing it all. You send him something, and if he thinks it's funny, if he thinks he can work with it, he's gonna work with it, you know. And I know that that's how he does his content, and he watches everything boxing, you know. So again, for someone to be as dedicated to this game as he is, to be pulling off the knockouts that he pulled off this year, the body work that he put in the ring, the training that he puts in, the commitment level that he has, and then on top of that, to be doing it with the social media presence outside of that, and furthermore, watching boxing religiously and reporting on boxing religion. Fighter of the Year outside of course,
honorable mention, John.
Huh?
Honorable mention, John.
Yeah.
To JYD.
Yeah,
yeah,
oh, yeah.
I mean, his views are crazy.
Honorable mention, John. I got you.
No, his views are crazy, and a surprising level of skill and IQ for a guy who started well into his 20s. And you know, he has power too. So his breakdowns are excellent. He tried to warn us on Haney Norman. He would boldly pick the right winner on that one. Yeah. And just a guy with a person, you know, a guy like Jake Paul would make sense signing JYD. He's got a personality, he has a story, and like I said, a surprising level of IQ and skill for a dude who started well into his 20s, and then he's born with punching power. He's got Breadman Edwards, so I like it. I like the honorable mention, John.
Absolutely. And then, Fighter of the Year?
Honorable mention to Dmitry Bivol. Okay. Who became undisputed light heavyweight champion, turned the tables on Arthur Beterbiev.
That fight was this year?
I believe so. February.
How was that fight this year? But the fight that... All right, I'm going to let it go.
February.
Anyway.
I know what you mean. It's like Joshua Dubois almost feels less old than... That fight feels like a minute ago.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah, would have liked to have seen the Benavidez fight. Benavidez, honorable mention. Fought two quality opponents in David Morrell and Anthony Yard, and handled his business against both. And then honorable mention to Devin Haney, who had to shake the ring rust against Ramirez, and then decisively beat Brian Norman. And shout out to Brian Norman too, who became a rich man this year and won the knockout of the year probably. And then I was tempted to give it to Naoya Inoue, because should he beat Picasso? And by the way, I do have him being Picasso, Pablo Picasso, Alan Picasso, David Picasso, Inoue inside 10. But Inoue, should he win that fight, will have beaten MJ Akhmadaliev, quality former champ, Ramon Cardenas, quality contender, Kim, you can't all be winners, but a beautiful knockout against him. And then if he knocks out Picasso, that's four fights. Four fights this year. Yeah. And you're always asking guys to fight at least 3 times a year. He's getting it in 4 times.
He's showing you can do it. And making the money that he's making. Wake up, y'all.
But like in 2023, the great monster will have to settle for being the runner-up to Terrence Bud Crawford, who only fought once, but just like he did in 2023, had probably the performance of the year with the highest stakes, and we'll get into the event of the year. It was the event of the year, and the reason why Crawford, he winds up cementing himself as one of the all-time greats, and I know he recently retired, and we'll get into that in a second. But this fight was fought at such a high skill level, and he clearly beat Canelo. I thought he won 9 rounds. So based on that and accomplishing history, he's 2025's Fighter of the Year. Yeah.
Agreed, 100%. That's what I have as well. I just think, again, when you're talking about becoming the Fighter of the Year, you're talking about being the knockout of the year or the fight of the year. Everything has to equate to greatness. Everything has to equate to the highest level, and doesn't get any higher than this kid right here. Of course, knowing what Inoue did this year, it's hard to argue it, but you have to pay respect. There's gonna be guys who become greater than him, greater than me, greater than other fighters, but we don't leave them behind. We always pay respect. So I think even though he only fought once this year, the kind of performance that he put on, who he put it on against.
Yeah.
You're the talk of the world for so long. Gotta give it to this kid right
I believe he was the #1 trending searched athlete in the world this year.
Wow.
Yeah.
There it is.
By Google.
Who is that's
who is this guy? Yeah. Should we talk about his retirement before we move on to the other awards? You want to save that for later?
I think we only have one other award anyway, which would be Performance of the Year. So
okay, and which he might win as well. And I got a surprise award after that.
But, okay, go ahead.
I think so. Crawford, should this be the end for him, announcing his retirement? The stat that stands with me the most, and there's a lot of good ones, 5-division champion, undefeated. He had a knockout streak from 2016 to 2023, starting with John Molina, ending with Errol Spence.
Oh, yeah.
Where it spanned 3 presidential terms. Ooh. Okay? And he won every single fight as a welterweight by knockout. And he won, and every single one of them, beginning with Jeff Horn for the WBO title, was a world title fight. Mm-hmm. That's a tough. I mean, that's
hard to argue.
Yeah, to win every fight as a welterweight and win them all by knockout, and they were all title fights. It says something about him.
Absolutely.
And I think he has essentially my favorite style, the boxer puncher, which Ray Robinson had and Ray Leonard, but he's a boxer puncher, but his true gift is the counter punching. He's he's as good a counter puncher as I've ever seen in the sport, but to be a boxer puncher, to mix it with the counter punching, where you're not just reliant on countering, but you can create with that 74-inch length the jab, because the jab gave Canelo as much problems as the counter punching. And then to put it all together against, I still think the absolute finest performance of his career was Spence, but the most important one's Canelo, because of who's the stature of Canelo. And I think what's so important about his performance against Canelo is that it will be studied.
Yeah.
When I talk about the Marcus Luthers and the Joseph Abagnonias and the Jamal Harveys and obviously the guys who are close to him now, Shakur, Keyshawn, and the Devin Haneys and all that, but it's going to be a performance studied by the young guys coming up for many years to come.
Yeah.
And that's the biggest compliment I could. It's great that he took home hardware and made a shit ton of money.
Yeah.
But the biggest compliment I could give him on the Canelo performance is going to be studied by young fighters.
There it is.
Yeah.
That's good stuff. Go ahead with your surprise award.
So my surprise, and we still got, I think you said one more, but my surprise award, comeback of the year.
Oh, would be.
This is something they do in the NFL, but it would obviously be Devin Haney.
Yeah.
And I think a runner-up, Manny Pacquiao. And to
even in the loss.
Well, no, a draw.
Oh, it was a draw.
And a lot of people thought he won.
Yeah, I thought he won. Yeah.
Right. I remember you were pissed. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think I want to give Haney, because I've had time to chew for over a month on the Haney performance. And we always knew Devin was doing what a lot of great young fighters do, which is when you're young in your 20s, boil down to 35 or 30 or 40. But you're headed to 47 for your lengthy run. For like Terrence, right? Terrence wound up being a welterweight for 6 years. He got to lightweight. He had a pit stop at 140 and then really settled in at welterweight, right? Like De La Hoya, like a lot of other fighters. And I think at welterweight, I thought after the Garcia fight, the punishment he took, and some of the things, Garcia obviously popped for the PED and rightfully did not go home with the win when it was all said and done. But I still thought he showed enough that maybe Haney can't make a run at #1 pound for pound like I originally thought. I think that's back on the table at welterweight if he could build off the Norman performance, because even Bill felt he left some food on the table. He should have stopped Brian Norman as badly as he hurt him in the second round. But at welterweight, where his punch resistance and his base seems more solid and his power is better than it's ever been, what really impressed me in the Norman fight, we talked about it after, was his positioning. And now that he's got something to really keep you respectful, he doesn't have to open up and be as vulnerable in the exchanges as he was at lightweight against a Lomachenko or a Jojo Diaz. Now that you really have to get stopped in your tracks by that check hook or that right hand, and he's improved his game better. His positioning's better. The up jab was money. So between the positioning getting better than ever, him going to the abyss after the Garcia fight and truly knowing once and for all what he's made of, having his back against the wall, so the psychological aspect, how comfortable he is at welterweight, he should reign at welterweight. Yeah, he should reign at welterweight for a minute here. Mm-hmm. Yeah,
true comeback. And then I like the Manny Pacquiao nomination as well. I think we hit them all. I think the only one you didn't hit was the card of the year.
Oh no, it was event of the year was the one we didn't do.
What's the difference?
Yeah, well, I don't know. You listed both of them that we had to prepare for. So.
the ring entrance is that?
The ring entrance, that too. Yeah, I Crawford with the Desperado, kind of stealing the Mexican fans.
Yeah,
they were kind of flat, and I think in part because they knew what they were up against in Terrence Crawford. Mm-hmm. Terrence Crawford actually has a lot of Mexican fans that were born and raised in the United States. I saw red, white, and green TBC shirts at the fight, and then I think once he stole the crowd from Canelo a little bit, took some of the air out of him. He came out first. Usually that's time for them to boo the opposing guy and get their juices ready for the guy they all paid to see. Mm-hmm. But when he came out with the Desperado stuff, and it was like, oh, that's kind of dope.
Yeah.
Kind of like, he took the play from Canelo.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that was the entrance of the year. And it was the event of the year with the runner-up being Paul Joshua, being the runner-up event of the year. Yeah.
Right. We got a couple of fan questions. We got the motivational message, and then we out of here. We're gonna salute Terrence Crawford and his retirement, and that'll be a part of the motivational message. I think I got something good. I haven't really. So hopefully, by the time we get there, I'll have it all the way solid in my head. Let's show those fan questions. Unfortunately, my phone died, so you won't be able to hear it.
Okay.
So I'll let you know what's going on.
Show 'em.